I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today for the hireimmigrants.ca webinar, Creating and Managing Diverse Workforce, an introduction to hireimmigrants.ca and the Roadmap. Today we're going to be talking about some tools and resources to help employers better recruit, retain, and promote diverse workers, and more specifically skilled immigrants. This webinar is hosted by hireimmigrants.ca and the Allies team, which stands for Assisting Local Leaders with Immigrant Employment Strategies. Allies provides funding, technical assistance, and leverages corporate connections to assist local initiatives in breaking down the barriers that skilled immigrants face when seeking employment. So I would like to say good afternoon to the East Coast and good morning to the West Coast. I want to thank you for joining us today. My name is Suzanne Hofberg. I'm an officer with HRSCC's Racism-Free Workplace Strategy, and I'll be moderating this webinar today. Joining us is Munira Ravji from Allies, a project of Maytree. Munira, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, definitely. So I am the Marketing and Partnership Specialist for Allies, and what we do is we work with about 12 immigrant employment councils across Canada just to connect with employers, build programs, create resources around the recruitment, integration, and retention of skilled immigrant employees. So we'll be talking about the Hire Immigrants and website and roadmap today.
Thank you so much and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few notes on the webinar technology for our callers before we get started. Everyone has been muted to minimize background noise and feedback. We do welcome any questions you have during the course of the webinar. You can type them into the chat field that's found at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and your questions will be answered during the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar. As with previous hireimmigrant.ca webinars, this presentation will be posted online in about a week's time for those who are unable to join us today, or if you'd like to review or share any part of the presentation. Now, over the next hour, we will set the stage in terms of the need and value of a diverse workforce, the resources that the Racism-Free Workplace Strategy provides to help employers recruit and manage diverse employees as well. Munira will then take us through the new hireimmigrants.ca website and the roadmap tool, which I'm very excited about, and highlighting the information and resources available to help employers better recruit, retain, and promote skilled immigrants. It's within the last 20 minutes that we'll be dedicating a question and answer period. So any questions that aren't addressed during this webinar, during the webinar, will be answered at that time. Okay. So just to get started, I wanted to begin by taking a look very briefly at the Racism-Free Workplace Strategy, or RUFUS, RFWS. We're very excited to be partnering with TRIAC on this session, and to provide you with some context on its value in the work that we do, I just want to provide you with a brief background on the strategy itself. Now, the Racism-Free Workplace Strategy is a part of Canada's Action Plan Against Racism, and specifically targets improvement in the area of employment for members of two specific designated groups. That would be members of visible minority communities and Aboriginal communities as well. There are 6 racism prevention officers across the country, each representing every province and territory, and each providing a number of services to employers, as well as networking opportunities. Some of you who are on the line today are a member of our network, and we welcome you and thank you for joining us. Some resources that are available through the strategy range from 1- and 2-hour video series, lunch and learn seminars, to full-day interactive workshops on race, inclusion, and the workplace, which the Federal Labor Program offers all free of charge to our clients. Regional partnerships is another item that we offer with local organizations that support anti-racism and anti-discrimination in the workplace, as well as national partnerships with organizations such as TRIAC, whose films are included on our site and in our suite of products, and who work directly with many of our clients and community networks regarding the improved and sustained employment of professional immigrant groups, of which visible minority communities comprise about 3/4 or 75%. Now, in doing some reading about our topic, I did come across a quotation drawn from the Conference Board of Canada's website on the intrinsic value of immigrant talent to the development of Canada's economic landscape. I'm not going to read the entire quote, but it clearly does make the point that immigrants with their vast skills and experiences are essential to helping employers grow and develop their business. There are some recent statistics that I'll briefly share with you that echo this need to support our changing landscape. In 2006, Canada welcomed 251,511 immigrants, most of them highly skilled, through its doors. Almost 70% of them landed in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, the urban engines of our economy, with Toronto alone accounting for 39% of that total. Yet there's still a pressing need for more immigration. In 2011, Canada welcomed 280,000 immigrants, and the latest census data shows that immigrants accounted for about 67% of the population growth from 2006 to 2011. Statistics Canada predicts that they will account for 80% of the population growth by 2031. Now, the Conference Board of Canada estimates that we will need 375,000 new immigrants annually in order to stabilize the workforce and ensure economic growth. Finding and attracting this group is the first challenge facing our country. The second major challenge is improving Canada's record in recent years at matching immigrants with the jobs that their skills warrant. I have here just 3 brief tips for employers, for those of us who are on the line. And the first is to be open and flexible to inclusive attraction and retention strategies. The second is to become aware of resources available to your diversity and inclusion strategy development. For example, the Racism-Free Workplace Strategy. And the third would be to visit the hireimmigrants.ca website for tips and tools on integrating immigrant professional talent. And now, Manira will take you through hireimmigrants.ca and the roadmap. Manira?
Great. Thank you so much, Suzanne. So just to start, the website hireimmigrants.ca provides businesses with the tools and resources they need to better recruit, retain, promote skilled immigrants. The site also profiles good examples and innovative practices of employers across the country through articles, success stories, videos, and webinars. The website is managed by Allies. It's a project of Maytree and the J.W. McConnell Family Foundation, but it was developed by one of our Immigrant Employment Councils, TRIAC, in 2005. TRIAC created the website initially to showcase successful practices of organizations that they were working with, but realized that these success stories and promising practices were happening across the country, and therefore they decided to collaborate with Allies and hand over the website to gain the national perspective. So currently Allies does manage the website. The site was redesigned last year and with a new navigation in HR-focused language. Sections along the top navigation bar include building the business case for hiring skilled immigrants, how to recruit and select skilled immigrants, and how to manage a diverse workforce. So one of the things that we hear from employers is that there is a lot of information out there around recruiting and hiring skilled immigrants, but they just don't know where to start. So I think we're going to start ourselves with a bit of a poll, and we'll put it out to the audience. We do recognize that employers are all at different stages of the HR life cycle when it comes to immigrant employment, and we were wondering, what challenges do you face in your work when it comes to recruiting, integrating, promoting skilled immigrants? So you can select all that apply. The choices are finding skilled immigrant talent, integrating, retaining, promoting, talent management, and performance assessment. So I see the numbers are being populated quite quickly here, and as we're waiting, I want to do a little bit of a shout out to Shannon Klee, who is our website and content developer for hireimmigrants.ca, and she was the driving force behind the new redesign and just making sure the website is best suited for employers' needs and getting the information to you right away. So we'll take a few minutes. So Shannon, big shout out to you. Thank you for all your hard work. And maybe we can take a look at the results here. So I'm seeing that in the finding skilled immigrant talent category, we have 62.96%. So about 63% are finding challenges in that area. The next is integrating. So about 68% are finding challenges in that area. Retaining is about 31%, promoting 55%, talent management is 31%, and performance assessment is there at about 21%. So now that you kind of have an idea of what your challenges are and where you stand as an organization in this area, we're going to now walk you through the website and show you how you can access information that's very specific to what your needs are. So the first area we're going to have you look at on the website is the Find Your Way function. Now, whatever your role or the size of your organization or the sector that you work in, this is where you can find articles, success stories, videos, and other resources that speak to your particular interests and needs when it comes to recruiting, retaining, and promoting skilled immigrants. So just as an example, where you see that little green arrow, regardless of your role, as I mentioned, the size of your organization, the sector, you can populate those areas and find information based on them as well. Now, just breaking down the role, size, and sector. So you may be an HR professional, a recruiter, manager, or business owner. Once you click on that area, it'll drive you to resources and links that will speak specifically to your experience. The same goes for if you're a small business, medium, or large, and if your sector is private, public, or nonprofit. So that's the best way to actually find the information on the website. So that's where you want to start. Next, I'm going to take you through the top navigation bar and kind of point you to some very specific areas where you can find resources, dependent, again, on where you are in your HR life cycle. So the first one we'll look at is the recruit and select area. So to effectively recruit skilled immigrants, you need to understand that your recruitment objectives and your community ensure job descriptions don't exclude any qualified candidates. We want to make sure you also don't that you're creating bias-free job advertisements and establishing networks within the skilled immigrant talent pool. So to ensure that you haven't inadvertently screened out skilled immigrant candidates, you need the skills to properly screen these resumes, evaluate credentials, and prepare for the interview and make the hiring decision. This section will provide you with the strategies and tools to help you successfully orient, train, accommodate, and integrate new skilled immigrant hires to your organization. Now, this section also addresses these issues, offering practical advice on topics such as how to write a job description and conduct a culturally competent job interview, as well as downloadable resources and links to more information to support you and your colleagues in recruiting and onboarding skilled immigrants. Now, you can also see in the sidebar there are links to relevant and related content, including success stories, other articles, and if you were able to scroll down, resources and tools such as videos, webinars, and news. We'll go to the next section now, which is the Managing Diversity section. Organizations that want to outperform the competition need to create talent management processes that ensure all employees, including skilled immigrants, are engaged and contributing to their full potential. This includes providing opportunities for growth as well as development and support. In the talent management section, you'll find articles and resources to help you do culturally appropriate performance appraisals and how to engage and retain skilled immigrants by providing access to training opportunities for advancement. Maximizing the different perspectives and skills of diverse employees is an economic imperative. You'll need to educate managers about the benefits of diversity as well as the responsibilities to treat all employees equitably and to accommodate them as needed. Now, in the diversity, equity, and accommodation section, you'll find information on what your obligations are for employment equity and accommodating employees. You'll also find articles that examine the benefits of a diverse workforce and offer insight on how to better manage diverse teams. One of the most important lessons that is that good diversity management and policies are simply good HR policies. Now, taking you into the resources and tools section. Now, this is where you can dig a little bit deeper into the different types of tools that we offer. You will notice that everything is multimedia based, so we offer videos, webinars, news, stats and reports, local resources, a glossary, the roadmap tool. This is a great place to find it, and the Find Your Way function. That was the search function we had talked about earlier. Now, what's great about when you actually choose resources and tools from the top navigation bar is that it will break it down into the specific sections that we talked about earlier. So you'll be able to find resources specific to the Why Hire, Recruit and Select, and Managing a Diverse Workforce. Now, just moving on to another excellent resource that will actually come to you instead of you having to find it. These are our e-tips. So they're sent out every 2 weeks, and if you look on to the right side of the screen, you see the little search box, and underneath it is e-tips. That's where you can click on to register for e-tips and also find archived e-tips. Now, as mentioned, these e-tips will come directly to your inbox. They offer you a few takeaways around a specific topic, and we'll also announce upcoming webinars, videos that are being released, and links to resources as well. Next, I'm going to actually walk you through the roadmap tool. So this is probably one of my favorite areas in hireimmigrants.ca. And again, you can actually access the roadmap tool right from the resources and tools navigation bar. So this is what the front page of the roadmap tool looks like. Now, it's also available in an HTML version, just in case you don't have access to Flash or it's not compatible with your actual system. So the hireimmigrants.ca roadmap is a step-by-step guide with comprehensive strategies and tools to enhance your company's human resources planning and practice. So this is from recruiting to retaining to integrating skilled immigrants. Regardless of your HR life cycle, we've pretty much mapped it out here. This valuable resource helps you effectively assess and select candidates, integrate skilled newcomers into your organization, and foster long-term relationships. It even offers tools to help you evaluate your successes in hiring skilled newcomers. Now, the hireimmigrants.ca roadmap is easily customizable for both employers with immediate needs and HR professionals looking for strategic and/or planning support. The hireimmigrants.ca roadmap enhances your human resources practices with strategies that can provide access to new pools of talent while traditional sources continue to diminish. It ensures your assessment and selection processes are inclusive of skilled immigrant talent, and it helps you integrate and retain skilled immigrant employees better. The hireimmigrants.ca roadmap was developed by the Toronto Region Immigrant Employment Council, TRIAC, with input from human resources professionals and consultants, and was launched in March 2009. Now, what's really great about the Hire Immigrants Roadmap tool is that it actually, as I mentioned before, maps out the entire HR life cycle of hiring a skilled immigrant. So you're actually going to be taken through step-by-step tutorials on how to manage and navigate this process that we talked about earlier. The main sections of the Roadmap tool are recruit, assess and select, onboard, talent management, and conditions for success. So the rest of the topics are pretty much self-explanatory, but in terms of conditions for success, this area is really going to help you understand and evaluate your activities, measuring your success, building awareness and leadership, ensuring immigrant readiness is a priority, and communicating successes, so celebrating what works and inspiring others to immigrant readiness. Now, what's great about the Roadmap tool, again, is it is also very much like hireimmigrants.ca interactive. Not only are you going to be able to walk through the tutorial, we'll be able to watch videos either from employer partners. You'll be able to listen to audio clips from some of our stakeholders that are talking about this topic. You'll be able to download tools. So as you can see from this screenshot, in this section, which is the Assess and Select section, when you're in the Screening Resumes area, you can actually download a document that will help you, a guide that will actually help you to screen resumes more effectively to make sure you're not screening out the right candidates, but actually making sure your processes are a little bit more inclusive. You'll also notice that there's a tab for resources, so there are links to broader topics or other organizations that are doing this work as well. Now, another thing that's great about the Roadmap tool is you can take it away with you. So a lot of employers, and as you'll be able to see now, provincial and municipal sites are taking advantage of the fact that you can actually embed the Roadmap tool onto your website or even your intranet site. So here is an example of how the Government of Ontario is doing it through their immigrant portal. But we do have other municipalities such as Timmins, the Greater Halifax Partnership that are also embedding the Roadmap tool onto their websites. And how you would actually go about doing this is you would find the Roadmap tool on the Hire Immigrants website through probably the resources link, but there's always a link at the bottom of the website that you can click to. From there, you would fill out a form. We would receive the form and send you the proper link that you could get the coding onto your website and have it embedded onto your website. So that's the best way of doing that. Now, just in terms of tips for employers, as we looked at the poll earlier, there are companies that are at different stages of their HR life cycle when looking to hire or even recruit before you hire. Recruit, hire, retain, integrate skilled immigrants. The most important thing for you to do is to know where your company stands. Where is your company in terms of this HR life cycle, and where do you need the most support? By being able to identify that right from the beginning, you'll be able to identify sources and find them more quickly. The other tip that's really important is to define your workplace culture. What type of culture do you have? Is your workplace really interested in dynamic candidates with great personality, or are you looking for someone that has strength in technical skills? This will be very important, especially in your recruitment process, your interviewing process, to properly skill out the right candidates and make sure they're a fit for your organization. The third thing we suggest to employers is create a strategy around recruitment, integration, and retention. We all know that there is a labor shortage that's not only looming, we're there, and we're looking for ways to address it. The best way to do this is actually to come up with a strategy around the different recruitment channels and how we can access the right talent for those channels. Fourth, engage employees and build their cultural awareness and inclusion capacity. So beyond just having a website where you can source resources, it's really important to look at how your current employees are faring with their new colleagues, see if you do have an inclusive workplace, and really understand how you can make your current employees feel that they're a part of this inclusive workplace as well. So beyond, as I said, accessing these resources, we do have programs such as mentoring programs, connector programs that do build the cultural competency of your employees and help build their skills around leadership and understanding what their skilled immigrant counterparts are going through. Lastly, it's very important for you to connect with your local Immigrant Employment Council. As mentioned, we have 12 of them across Canada. The footer of hireimmigrants.ca provides a direct link to all of them. So regardless of what region you're actually residing in, you can connect with these Immigrant Employment Councils, who we consider are the experts in that specific region around what resources are out there locally for employers that are looking to hire skilled immigrants, what programs are out there, and what different partnerships that can be developed to make sure that we push this agenda forward. So those are the main tips that we have. And at this time, we were wondering if anyone had any questions.
Thank you so much, Manira. I don't know about anyone else on the line, but I thought that was incredibly valuable and insightful information on the website as well as on the roadmap tool. As Manira has mentioned, we're going to be asking for questions from the audience that anyone may have. We're just going to be monitoring that here. Okay. We're going to ask for these questions. The chat box is now in the center of your screen. Simply type your questions into the entry field at the bottom of the box. And we'll just take a couple of minutes to take those questions. Okay, so Manira, there is a question around the videos and the webinars. How are the videos and webinars organized on the site?
That's a great question, and actually I'm going to throw that to the expert of hireimmigrants.ca, Shannon.
Hi there. All right, I'm actually going to go back into our PowerPoint here, so I'm just going to open that up so we can just take a look. So please do forgive me, the chat box will disappear for a little while here, but I just want to show you back on the resources and tools slide that Manira had talked about. The videos do live in this section on the website, and if you click on the Resources and Tools tab and come to the landing page, as Manira mentioned, our videos are here, and if you click in where I have that little green arrow, you will find all videos that are related to why hire or making the business case for hiring skilled immigrants. And if you click under the Recruit and Select, that's where you'll find the ones based on recruiting. So for instance, the TRIAC video, Finding Talent, will live in that section. And then over under Managing a Diverse Workforce, that is where you'll find videos under that topic, and this is where the TRIAC video, Integrating Talent, resides. Now, you can also access the videos by clicking from the drop-down menu, and if you do that, you'll come to, this is just all the videos. You will still see Why Hire, Recruit and Select, and Managing a Diverse Workforce. But at the bottom, you will also see a link to show all videos. And so this will have all the videos, and you can just scroll through and find the ones that are most recent. They all have a little summary so that you'll know what the video is about, and you can click in and watch the videos that way. And the webinars are organized in the exact same manner as are all of our news, stories, statistics, and reports that we have. So that's pretty much where you can, that's the easiest way of finding videos or webinars specifically. Also, throughout the website, in the other sections that we've talked about, so Why Hire, Recruit, Select, and Managing a Diverse Workforce, we do have a video that is related to each of these pages, whatever the topic is, be it assessing and selecting. There will be a video at the bottom of the page. Unfortunately, we can't see that on the slide, but in the Assess and Select section, there's actually a video from one of our employers in London, it's Autodata, and she's talking about some, basically 4 cost-effective ways to recruit skilled immigrants. So there's some advice from another employer. And then also, on this page, you can see in our featured content for Recruit and Select, we have the Finding Talent video from TRIAC. These videos are very popular. They can be used as part of doing cultural competency training with employees, and there's a guide that goes along with them as well, so to kind of guide your training. So this video is always found on this page right up at the top, and because it is about recruiting immigrants, that's why it's in the Recruit and Select section. And then also in the Managing a Diverse Workforce section, we have the Integrating Talent video is featured up at the top. So that's another place where you can find some of our most popular video content.
So just to speak to the diversity of the videos that we offer, again, we do have really short videos that are just a few minutes long that could be an anecdote that an employer would want to share around skilled immigrant employment. And again, finding talent, integrating talent, those are more situated like training videos. So they can be broken up into specific sections, and they all come with training guides that you can actually use to help facilitate with your staff.
And that's wonderful. There are some employers that the Racism-Free Workplace Strategy has worked with who are currently on the call who had the opportunity to view the Finding Talent and Managing Talent and all of that, or Integrating Talent, and have found it really valuable. For those of you who have participated, the resources that have been provided to you through Rufus, the hard copy resources in terms of tips and tools, etc., as we mentioned, are all found on this website.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's nice to be able to kind of see where you can find it yourself. If you'd like to forward it on to your HR staff or your executive team or whomever for yourself, just to be able to refer to online. So
definitely. What's great about these videos is you can download them right off the website. So you don't have to wait. You have to wait for them to download, but if these are videos that you would want immediately, you can go ahead and download them. I believe you can stream them as well, Shannon, and they are bilingual. So not all the videos are bilingual, but the Finding Talent and Integrating Talent have been translated into French as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I also see there's a question, sorry to interrupt, just about internet restrictions and being able to stream videos. And if you're not able to watch a video at your workplace, you can request, as Manira was saying, a download. And so just on every video page, there is a link to download, and you'll be given you have to fill out a form for all the TRIAC videos, and then you'll get the link to download from there. So hopefully that will help you get around the internet restrictions. If not, you can always always contact me. My contact information is on the website, and I can help you figure out how to access the videos if you're still having some problems.
Excellent.
Now,
Thank you.
as a last resort, if you're looking for the actual hard copies of videos, they do have to be purchased from the actual production company that produced the videos. So they are available. They're a little bit harder to find, and you do have to pay for those. Otherwise, everything else is at no cost.
Manira, about the website, is it available for employer use immediately?
The hireimmigrants.ca website?
Well, I imagine the hireimmigrants.ca website seems to be readily accessible and all of that. With regard to the roadmap tool, is is it possible to just kind of start using it immediately? Or
Absolutely.
Is there an administrative process that we need to go through?
No, if you're thinking of embedding the roadmap tool, there is a bit of a process you would need to sign up, and we would send you the coding for it. But if you'd like to actually go ahead and use the roadmap tool, is absolutely accessible on any of the websites we mentioned, but obviously hireimmigrants.ca is your best pointing place to find it. Now, another thing I wanted to mention about that is you can actually save aspects of the different sections. If there's a section that you're interested in maybe reviewing at a later time, you can save it, and you can also share some of the resources within the roadmap tool. So if you'd like to send out a certain topic to a colleague, all you have to do is register on the website, and then you can share the different modules and topics as well.
Okay, wonderful. And as far as the development, I guess, of the website as well as of the roadmap tool, is it ever expanding? Is this kind of the product as is, or is it constantly being developed and changed? Does it need to be changed or updated?
It is the product as is for now. As I mentioned earlier, there was extensive consultation with individuals from the HR profession to different stakeholders that could speak to kind of the full spectrum of the topic. So we do feel that it's quite a comprehensive resource. It is bilingual, so you can access the resources in the roadmap tool in French as well. And in terms of expanding, if you are looking for local resources, definitely hop back onto hireimmigrants.ca to point you to where the local resources are in your area.
And I think it's a wonderful point that the tool is, in fact, bilingual. With the clients that we have across the country, obviously, even just in Northern Ontario, in addition to Quebec and New Brunswick, et cetera, and other parts of the country, that our workforces are increasingly multilingual and, of course, bilingual. So I find that really helpful.
Okay, and actually I just want to add that while the roadmap tool, the content on the roadmap is fairly static, on hireimmigrants.ca we are adding new content every week, new stories, new videos, new profiles of employers. So there is always something new on hireimmigrants.ca.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I've worked in the area of HR for a few years, and I'm sure that those of us who are on the line are possibly a part of local organizations such as the HRPA of Ontario, et cetera, other accreditation programs. Is there any consideration, Manira, about accreditation for having recruiters or other HR professionals kind of moving through the site or using that tool, allowing employers to kind of verify, yes, my HR team or my recruitment team has gone through this tool or has appropriately applied this tool? Is there any sort of connection with maybe an accreditation body that the roadmap tool has or that hireimmigrants.ca has? Or perhaps something for consideration in the future?
Definitely.
I'll actually, this is Shannon, I'll actually try and answer that question. It's a really great idea, and actually TRIAC is developing a new learning tool, online tool called the Employer Campus that will be launching in the fall. And that's one thing that they're doing is they are working with employers to kind of create learning programs for employees, and they can, as employees go through the different learning modules, they will kind of get credit for it, and then at the end be given it's more of an internal training, so it's an internal certificate as opposed to an external accreditation. To do that kind of thing, to do an external accreditation for using our website, that would require a lot of developing some partnerships with either the HRPA or with other HR associations across the country. So that is definitely something to consider, and we would be willing to work with employers to help them develop training tools or modules based on the resources that are on our website. If that is something that an employer is interested in, they can definitely contact us, and we can put together some resources that they can then use as part of their internal training.
Just to add to that, there are a lot of conversations that are happening right now with the different bodies that kind of streamline accreditation. So we welcome any ideas that people would have moving forward to definitely connect with us and see if there's something we can do, or if we can maybe connect a few different stakeholders in a conversation to get that moving forward.
Okay, wonderful. And you know, we have employers who, some of them working in the area of diversity and inclusion and HR, and as you mentioned, there are a number of resources kind of on the website to assist with that. Is there anywhere that currently exists on the website, or perhaps even on the roadmap tool, that our participants might be able to point out their hiring managers to specifically to say, hey, you know what, take a look at this in terms of building an awareness around the importance of hiring skilled immigrants? Or is it just generally the entire website, you know, take a look at this whole website and see, is there a business case, I suppose, a business case section?
Yeah, definitely. There is, just going back to the top navigation area, there is a section where you can find the business case on hiring skilled immigrants, so the Why Hire section. I'll just get Shannon to take us back maybe to a screenshot. So if you see right beside home, the Why Hire section, that's where you can actually find the case for hiring skilled immigrants. But also if you look in the resources and tools area, the news stats, that's a really great area to maybe prove the case and to get some numbers attached to what's actually going on in the labor market right now.
Okay. Thank you.
And also, sorry, again to interrupt, this is Shannon. To go into more detail under the Why Hire section, there is the business case that talks about what skilled immigrants bring to your organization, so talking about how they help boost innovation, how they help you tap into global markets and bring global expertise. So those articles can really help you build the case. And there's also another section called Making the Case, and in here you'll find presentations that can help you present to employees in your organization around why hire, or why it is important to hire skilled immigrants. And then also we have something called Quick Facts. So these are just a collection of statistics that are related to immigration and the labor market. And so just very specifically, you know, how many skilled immigrants have come to Canada, what is the labor force projections going forward, those kinds of stats that can help you make the case. And then also under building awareness and leadership, there are some tools from the roadmap that help you evaluate your hiring practices to make sure that you're not screening out candidates, or that your talent management practices aren't perhaps unconsciously have a bias in them. So there are a lot of resources actually under that Why Hire section.
Wonderful. I asked for one. You gave me about 6 or 7.
And I have one more to add, actually.
Okay.
I have to say, if you know, the listeners of the webinar are tapped in, the best thing that you really can do to stay up to date is to sign up for the e-tips. Now, there have been a lot of amazing reports that have come out recently that are really pushing this agenda forward. For example, there was a report recently out by TD Bank. There was a report out by Deloitte. What we do, and actually Shannon is, again, the force to be reckoned behind this, is we do summarize some of these reports. And as soon as they come out, we do send these tips out, but also these summaries out as an alert. And that's really important for anyone within an organization that wants to stay abreast of what's actually happening, but might not have time to go through a 50, 60-page report. We do offer summaries going through what those reports are pointing to.
Okay, thank you. We do have a question about something that's a little bit more regional, and specifically it's how does the roadmap tool support online resources such as Skills International in British Columbia, or does it? So online resources, I imagine, and then the example is just Skills International, but is there a connection between, I suppose, other online resources with the Roadmap tool?
Well, one way, we do have partnerships with different websites and organizations that are out there that are providing similar information or similar services. And we do connect to them through our local resources section that Munira kind of mentioned before as well. Let me pull up that slide again for everybody so we can just take a quick look at where that is. So under Resources and Tools, right below News, we have our local resources. So when you click on that, it actually takes you to a map of Canada, and you can click on your province, and then there will be links to local immigrant employment councils, government portals, and then also community resources. So it's through those community resource links, and also through many of the IECs that you can find connections to things like Skills International. In London, there's also one in Ontario, and through one of our partners, the London Immigrant Employment Council, LMIEC, so it's London and Middlesex. Immigrant Employment Council. So they work very closely with Skills International, so they can connect you that way. And then also through, with BC as well, we do have an Immigrant Employment Council there.
Well, it's great to know that there's such it's so complete, because the website itself, as well as the tool, provides us with information on how to move through that cycle, on what to do with what we find. But oftentimes employers may come to Rufus or other resources and say, well, how do I find skilled immigrants, or how do I find internationally trained professionals? And so it's wonderful to see that embedded in the site itself is a location where employers can search not only in general, but also by province in terms of the IECs and other organizations that support skilled immigrants in job search and in just connecting with employers. So it's all kind of housed within the same website, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and you can also see one of our participants, Bonnie, has just posted some links to Skills International and to the IEC BC equivalent as well, Talent Match. So there are resources there.
Wonderful. What I love about these type of forums, the webinars, it's a free share of information, which is great.
Definitely.
All right. Well, if there are any other questions that anyone has, please do feel free to enter them into your chat box.
I think before we go through any more questions, I just wanted to highlight something that we hear, and a question that we get asked all the time, and that is, where can I find skilled immigrants? Right. Now, the hireimmigrants.ca website is an employer-facing website, so it's really a resource for employers to navigate the HR life cycle, but there is no specific database housed on that website to find skilled immigrants. So what you really want to do is go into, again, the local resources section, click on your province, and find the Immigrant Employment Council that is located in your region. That's where you can also find, in that resource section, links to government portals and community resources that the IECs could also connect you to the immigrants in your area. Usually the Immigrant Employment Councils will work with agency partners, and that's where the database of skilled immigrants that are available, the skilled immigrant candidates that are available would be found. So if there's no Immigrant Employment Council in your area, then you can use the community resources to find immigrant serving agencies that provide employment programs. These are really a great source of skilled immigrant talent, and they often provide employers as well as immigrants with support in these areas. So in case there is no Immigrant Employment Council that's been set up in your region, please take a look to see what other resources are available in that area as well. Now, also under Recruit and Select, there's a section called Finding Skilled Immigrants. So there are articles there talking about where you could look to find skilled immigrant candidates, bridging programs, internship programs that are offered through, say, Career Bridge or colleges and universities. So if for some reason you're having trouble finding something very specific, you should be able to find an agency that can point you to where these immigrants can be found.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Munira.
No problem.
I have a question about the one concern that some of our employer clients have is around English language skills, and being able to assess a candidate based on their educational qualifications and their experience is one thing and wonderful. Does the Hire Immigrants website provide any sort of resource that employers can go to in order to maybe find other organizations or to themselves identify English language skills that are equivalent to what they may need in their efforts to recruit, retain, and advance skilled immigrants in their workplace?
Well, one thing I really want to stress is when hiring, it's really important to focus on the skills that are essential for the job. So not all jobs require perfect English, and it's easier to help someone polish their English skills than to teach a native English speaker the essential technical skills that you're looking for, right? So don't rule anyone out completely if they don't speak perfect English. Now, there are several success stories on hireimmigrants.ca of employers who hire based on the hard-to-find essential skills, and then they provide communication training to employees who need it. So, for example, BC Hydro provides occupation-specific language training for engineering and technical employees. The links to all these stories, we will be actually sending these links out in the webinar wrap-up. So there are a few areas where you can point to get more information about how other employers are kind of addressing and overcoming this challenge. There's also one thing to consider, how you can help your current employees be more, as we mentioned earlier, culturally competent or empathetic to the experiences of skilled immigrant employees that are entering the workforce. So we have activities, videos that are present on the website as well that can help support your current employees around navigating that as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's great. I was recently out in Northern Ontario, actually, hosting a workshop out there and did come across some employers, and I can see here that there's a question from one of our employers here around remote locations. And, sometimes there is a need just based on where the employers are located, where the work needs to be done, very open and willing and accepting of hiring skilled immigrants into the workplace, however, within remote areas. Is there any sort of information that employers can go to in terms of possibly promising practices around the recruitment of skilled immigrants into remote locations or remote areas, so not within major city hubs, on the website? Or
there are. Well, again, I'll point you to the local resources area to see where there are specific resources in that region. But one thing that's interesting that you might want to consider is, first of all, checking in to see if your organization is already a partner of an Immigrant Employment Council. So if that's true, and the best way to find that out is either to go through your HR department or to connect with the Immigrant Employment Council that's closest to your region. Just check in to see if you are a partner, because there probably is some existing work and outreach being done within your organization around this. And often what we do is we will match employees from one region within an organization to another region to see how they can collaborate and maybe bring a mentoring program or some resources to the region that's a little bit more remote. So that's definitely an opportunity. But again, if you're not really sure where to start, go over to the local resources section and find an Immigrant Employment Council that's probably closest to you. And if all else fails, you can definitely contact someone from the Allies team. Myself specifically, I work with employer partnerships, so definitely connect with me, and I can see if you're already a partner or if there's something we can do maybe to tailor an initiative around that remote location, because definitely we have immigrants that are migrating to those locations as well.
Right. And also just around attracting immigrants to your organization if you are in a rural location. A lot of it is about making your work environment welcoming and inclusive, and showing candidates that you are an inclusive employer, that you do recognize diversity and value diversity. And that can come across in things like your job ads, on your website, in how you are going out and talking to skilled immigrant candidates, and making sure that you are talking about those kinds of resources and supports that you have in place in your organization to support diversity and diverse employees. And we do have information on that in the Recruit and Select section under Orient and Onboard. There's some information around creating an inclusive environment. And then also in the diversity section, we have information just around kind of the value of diversity, so that can help too around just making sure that your environment is welcoming to all employees, not just skilled immigrants, but really making sure that you are very welcoming and inclusive.
Absolutely, and just a brief reflection on my time up in Northern Ontario and in other locations as well, that a promising practice that some employers are engaging in is, in addition to all of the great things that Shannon has just mentioned and Munira, is also in that inclusion strategy, also speaking with the families of those who you are recruiting or interviewing specifically, and letting them know what's in and around the area, because it's as important for the families to feel comfortable if someone is going to be moving to a remote location as it is for the candidate. And so having that information readily available and shared just adds to the inclusiveness that a candidate may feel as a part of your organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good point, because it does come down to community as well, and finding those community supports for the employee and the family, so that they can make those connections.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to make reference to something that Bonnie had sent actually to the general chat, and that's with regards to a previous question around English level equivalencies. And certainly there's the Canadian Language Benchmark national standard that's used in Canada, and so there's a link that's available there. Thank you, Bonnie, for providing that. Mm-hmm. I do want to ask if there's anyone else on the line who has any further questions for Munira, myself, or for Shannon regarding the information about hireimmigrants.ca or the Roadmap tool, or RUFUS, Racism Free Workplace Strategy, to let us know. And you can feel free to enter that into your chat box. I'm just going to give maybe a few more seconds for anyone who has any other questions.
And while we're waiting, maybe a few more kind of resources we can point to. Hireimmigrants.ca actually has a Twitter account, so you can follow us at hireimmigrants. We also have a LinkedIn company page, so if you'd like to follow us, we do post all the highlights of what's new on Hire Immigrants for that week on our LinkedIn page. And third, become a national partner. So supporting employers is not just about providing these great online resources. It's about actually partnering with organizations to see what we can do around building some programs or pushing forward some strategies that are relevant to that organization specifically. So my contact information is going to be available and should be available on the webinar here, so we can talk a little bit more about how your organization can get involved as well.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Munira.
No problem.
Okay, so we've come close to the end of our time here, and I'm not seeing any further questions from our audience. Before we go, I would like to thank Munira for taking us through hireimmigrants.ca and the Roadmap tool. Mm-hmm. I think that all of us will now be able to make the most of the resources and tools to better recruit, retain, and promote skilled immigrants. And I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. For all of those who registered, you will receive an email when the webinar is available to view online at hireimmigrants.ca, and you can also visit the site. To great tools and resources for employers, including monthly e-tips, which you can easily sign up for, as well as previous webinars. The recording of this webinar will be available online in about 10 days' time. And I'd like to ask you all please to complete the short evaluation survey that has just popped up on your internet browser. The web address is also in the box at the bottom of your screen. I want to thank you all for logging in today and hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.